this positioning them in better spaces when it comes to the national stage. I don't know whether you would agree with that, but even as you respond to that, let's look at what some of the people have highlighted in the story on the question of certain individuals being the biggest undoing of the Mulembe nation. They cite the likes of Musalia Mudavadi, Papa Roma, and of course that is Moses Wetang'ula, perhaps the Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Would you agree to what it is that these gentlemen are saying, especially what, again, Dr. Barak Muluka highlights that, Musalia Mudavadi had the chance, that he was accorded by the people, but he squandered what he considers this goodwill?
Let me say this. I think there is something we are glozing over here, all of us. There is a truth that is very difficult to hide when it comes to discussing Mulembe nation leadership, the Kamba nation, and even the Mijikenda in the coast. The fact is, these three communities, they simply are very comfortable following someone. They are not comfortable leading. You cannot lead, you cannot be president, you cannot compete for power in Kenya while behind someone else. You must go in front. And that is why now some of them are uncomfortable with Natembeya, because Natembeya is trying to break that. He's trying to be a leader. A leader is somebody who becomes our expression for our frustration. And that person is followed. So the truth of the matter is there will be no Natembeya if Mudavadi was leading. But he is busy following Dr. William Ruto. There will be no Natembeya if Wetang'ula were to be leading. He is busy following. When Raila left the scene, Kalonzo would have occupied the political space. He actually did not succeed occupying the political space. If you look at the population of the Mijikenda, it's exactly the size of population of the Kalenjins. But the Kalenjins are busy producing in leaders. We are not seeing anyone coming from that side. So until these three communities decided to be leaders, they will forever follow other Kenyans. And that is where the weakness lies. Now, you asked something about the Njuri Ncheke. You see, Njuri Ncheke is not just a council of elders. It was the government of Meru before the Muzungu came, and it continued because what happened is the British were very careful to destabilize an existing government. So what happens when the Muzungu came? You see, the Njuri Ncheke is in three pieces. There is the Kiama, which is the General Assembly, which is anybody who has become a man qualifies. Then there is the Njuri Ncheke now, which is the being selected people from 45 and above. They couldn't go to Njuri Ncheke. But there is also Njuri Mpingire that is now more sieving, you get more cream of the same in terms of leadership. And then there is what they call Njuri Mpere. So there are stages. And then, there is also the judiciary in Imero, which is basically a court of jurisdiction, then a court of appeal, and then the equivalent of the Supreme Court now, which was basically populated more by women than men. So Meru also understanding army at the time the Muzungu was coming, because every generation you want to serve for 5 years, actually 15, before you can come and get married and become an elder. So it has carried, the Njuri Ncheke now has carried that structure of government to today. So that is the respect. And then it was by qualification. You couldn't become a member of Njuri if you are poor, for example. You have to be a responsible person, you have to have a family, you have to have your own wealth. So the process of selecting who becomes the member, who doesn't, it is what has maintained that aura that one of the panelists was talking about. So what I want to say this, and really very forcibly so, is that there is a weakness in the entire country about producing good leaders, not just the lawyers, not anybody, because even in central Kenya, the whole country actually, for 60 years, they have come closest to a good leader, only Kibaki. All the others have been politicians. And that is why in next election, the voters are going to look for a non-politician to lead Kenya. Because you see, politicians lack a very critical ingredient of leadership. They lack shame. Politicians have no shame. They will lie looking at you with a straight face. They have no empathy. They will not empathize with you. They will not feel your pain. Okay? And they have demonstrated this now for 61 years. So people are looking for 2027 to make a clean break. So the weakness in leadership is not with the Mulembe nation alone. It's a national one. It's basically cutting across the country. We have been deteriorating. We are not able to produce a Mandela. We can't produce a Nyerere. We can't produce Captain Sankara or Ibrahim Traore or Amika Kaburo. We are just producing the equivalent of normal criminals. We give them power. They rob us. Otherwise, they would be robbing in banks if we did not give them the power. That is the problem. It is not